So we're back, we're talking FF7, we're talking Rebirth. Game Awards is in a few days. We got a trailer for the event yesterday. The trailer did feature a couple of scenes and a little bit of dialogue from Rebirth that got people kind of excited. Which is kind of understandable, but at the same time, Rebirth is obviously being nominated in one of the categories, the most anticipated game. So that's 99% of the reason that it's in the trailer. But there were some interesting things that other people pointed out that I don't know if it's entirely true, but I figured we'd mention it. Somebody mentioned that it's the only game in the most anticipated game category that's in the trailer. There's Hades 2, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, a Star Wars game, and Tekken 8, I think. And I guess none of those are in the trailer itself, so the fact that Rebirth is there is kind of interesting. And at the very least, if that's not teasing a trailer, that's if the other games aren't in the trailer itself, doesn't that kind of solidify the Rebirth is winning, which I think it's going to anyways, just even putting my bias aside. I don't think any of those other games can compare. I've seen somebody mention that Death Stranding 2 and Rebirth are the only games in the trailer that are upcoming, but Death Stranding 2 is not in any of the categories. It's not being nominated for anything, which is kind of weird. Obviously, Kojima and Jeff Keighley have a bromance, so that kind of makes sense. Maybe that's also teasing a trailer for Death Stranding 2. It's kind of weird that that's not in the most anticipated category, because that is Death Stranding was obviously a pretty divisive game, but it's still very popular. You think it'd be in that category too, but if it's coming out next year, but maybe it's not. I don't know. I don't know shit about the game. I thought those details from the trailer were kind of interesting, just because we're hoping for a trailer here. We kind of need a trailer here. It's been a while. By the time this happens on Thursday, December 7th, it'll be a week from 3 months since we had a trailer, right? We had a trailer September 14th. We obviously had the TGS showcase on late September, or whatever, September 20th, I think, or something like that, 21st. So we had something there, and that's obviously in some ways better than a trailer, obviously, because you're just getting actual gameplay. It was an hour-long showcase, whatever. But even then, with that big showcase we had for Rebirth, that's been over 2 months at this point, right? And we haven't had anything. We've had a shit ton of interviews coming out of TGS and beyond, over the last couple months. We've had a lot of interviews, a lot of information, but in terms of the game itself, hyping up the game, we just haven't had anything. There's just been no trailers, been kind of nothing for quite a while. And the game is very close to coming out. We're less than 3 months at this point, right? I believe prior to the last trailer, we did kind of a what I expect from the next trailer kind of video. And I got some things right. I mentioned Gold Saucer. I believe I mentioned either Sid, Vincent K. Sith, some combination of that. And we obviously got both. We got two of those, two of the three. I don't really have a list right now of what I anticipate from this trailer, but just kind of off the top of the head, I expect Sid. I do expect Sid. I don't know how they do it, though. Do you do a full reveal of Sid, then also a full reveal of Vincent, or do you just tease Sid like you teased Vincent with the last trailer? I don't know what they do there. We've obviously been told that we're going to have Tiny Bronco at some point in the game, right? So I could see them showing off a little bit of Tiny Bronco gameplay, driving through the water. We also haven't seen anything with Barrett and Dine, Corel Prison, so I could see them doing something along those lines. And then also showing off the Forgotten Capital, and I don't mean them fucking showing Sephiroth kill Aerith or whatever. They're not going to show that. They could probably show that in the final trailer, because they love to spoil shit all the time with the final trailers. Or launch trailers or whatever. But I can see them showing off what Forgotten Capital looks like, right? Because we've seen it a little bit, or at least they kind of teased it a bit with remake with the visions we got, but I could see them showing off what it looks like. And then maybe Temple of the Ancients, right? I can see them doing that too with this trailer. Also in terms of gameplay, what we've seen so far, especially with the TGS showcase and with a lot of the trailers too, we've almost stuck entirely to the first continent. We've seen them walking around so what looks like Gungaga Reactor and Cosmo Canyon and stuff like that, right? But those are just slight little bits of gameplay. So I can see them doing more of the second, and maybe even third continent, depending on how much they want to show of the northern continent with Forgotten Capital and all that other shit, Bone Village. But I can see them showing off the Mount Corel shit or something like that, right? Something post Costa del Sol or something. Well, I've kind of realized here somewhat recently that I think I always say Costa del Sol, and it's obviously it's Costa, and I assume it's pronounced Casa del Sol, right? I don't know why I say it wrong. I just do. And maybe a bit of hopeful wishing or whatever, but maybe they show off this skill tree thing that we've been hearing about a little bit that we've yet to see. They haven't shown off the weapon cores or the skill trees. And I don't know how in-depth the skill tree is going to be. They talked about it being attached to the synergy system, the characters synergy system thing, whatever. So I don't know how in-depth it is or if it even needs to be showcased, but we just haven't seen that yet. So as for a bit of I guess, bold prediction for Game of the Year, I want it to be Baldur's Gate 3 or Alan Wake 2, but we have two Nintendo games on the list, Super Mario Wonder and Tears of the Kingdom, obviously. And I think it's probably going to be one of those, just because it's just how it goes usually, right? So it's probably going to be Tears of the Kingdom. I don't think it's going to be RE4 or fucking... What's the other game? Spider-Man 2? Those are not winning, 1,000%. I know some of the Final Fantasy fan base was kind of upset that 16's not on this list, but it would be cool to get the nomination, I guess, but it was never going to win. It's against besides the last two that I named, it was for sure never going to beat Tears of the Kingdom, Super Mario Wonder, Baldur's Gate 3, or Alan Wake 2. It's just not happening, unfortunately, dude. It's a cool game. I don't think it's necessarily game of the year, though. And I haven't even played a lot. I've played that game, and I haven't played a lot of the games on this list. And I still don't think it'd beat any of them. I know for a lot of people in the community, because I see it all the time on Twitter since like the Game Awards is coming up, that like 16 was their game of the year, and that's cool, man. I couldn't say it's mine. Then again, I don't play a lot of games that come out, right? I'm very selective with games that I buy, and I would personally just myself put like Hogwarts Legacy above it. Like I just had more fun overall playing Hogwarts Legacy than I did, 16. That's just me though. Anyways, that bullshit aside, it's pretty much the video. Just excited. A few more days, we should have a trailer for Rebirth again. Finally, something to like react to, something to break down, to discuss, theory craft, like all that other shit, man. It's always exciting when a new trailer drops for like the remake project because it's something we talk about for like months of time. We could probably talk about this next trailer, depending on how big it is and what all it shows, damn near all the way to release, right? Like just depending on how much there is in this trailer. So that's always exciting. Pass off to you guys. I think a trailer is all but a certainty at this event. It kind of needs to be here, but if we do get a trailer, what do you expect to be in it? Anyways, that's the video. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. So in the description below. Follow me on Twitter, @davidbusiness. That's it. Bye.
Used to care what people thought, but now I care more. And nobody out here's got it figured out. So therefore, I've lost all hope of a happy ending, depending on whether or not it's worth it. So insecure, no one's perfect. We spend it with no shame. We blow that like Coltrane. We in here like Logain or leave it like Cobain.